after all the school, the studying, the work, after a couple of years, sometimes women will find themselves in a place of an identity crisis. When they get into the real world and they see how cold the world is, when they see how brutal the world is, women get scared away into a corner and then they just hide. They approach life hiding because a lot of women were not taught to compete. Life is competition. Life is a competition. And it's been that way from birth. To get approved for a loan, they got to compare your credit score to everybody else. To get into university, you have your application, your GPA, your SAT scores, your ACT scores has to be higher than the other students that applied in order for you to get in. Like, life has been a competition from the beginning of time. But competing in the community of women is not really competing at all. It's nonsense. Okay, and we're going to talk about this in the self-mastery class tomorrow, where if you don't master yourself, you won't be able to compete. And if you're not able to compete, then how are you going to get your manifestation to you? Because you're not doing the work to get it there. You just wanting something in your mind isn't enough for it to show up. Especially if it's something of substance. There has to be some work behind it. You must compete. You must compete. You must master yourself enough where you can get out into the world and leave the comfort of your bedroom and compete. Because if you don't know how to compete in life, you will get tore to shreds. The concept of competing has never really been understood by women. Because in the community of women, amongst women, there is, when it comes to a certain position that many women want at the same time, whether it's a job, a promotion, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of scheming and manipulation and lying and reputation ruining and all the nonsense that women engage in because competing is just too hard. Competing is always a scenario that women have struggled with because it's not women's fault. Women have never been taught to compete. That's the thing. Sports are a male-dominated field. So men know that if I want this opportunity, I'm going to have to work really, really hard for it. When a man is running a marathon or playing basketball for a sports team, they can't just go in there and start tripping the other team. You don't want him to get the ball, you don't want him to get the ball inside of the hoop. So you're going to just keep tripping him. You can't do that. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to call foul and they're going to bench you for the rest of the game or the rest of the season because that's not how it works. But for a lot of women, that's how they go through life. It's if they have to show their skill and play the game the right way and win the game through their skill, they lose because they're not allowed to trip anyone. So if you have a young girl, if you have a daughter, put her in a sport, whether it's dance, whether it's cheerleading, whether it's cross country, put her in a sport so she can understand what it means to actually compete, what it means to master yourself and grow in your skill so you can win. Not sabotaging and all the nonsense that women like to involve themselves in when they feel like a girl is a threat. I'm telling you, this stuff is foreign. I didn't really know what competing was. I know what competing was amongst women. I thought that, if this person is doing this or if this person is trying to get you fired at work, she's trying to get me fired at work, she's competing with me. That's what I would put in my head when I was younger. I would say, she's trying to get me fired. It's because she's competing with me. But now that I'm older, she wasn't competing with me at all. She was actually losing to me. So that's why she wanted to get me fired. She was cheating. Because if she was competing, she would try to work better and work well so she can possibly get a chance at the promotion we're going for. So a lot of you ladies, these women are not competing with you at all. They're not competing with you. They're losing to you. So that is why they are doing what they're doing, because they're losing. So they got to get you out of the game. You're losing because you don't compete. You're losing because you don't compete. Mel, why are you bringing up the word competition? You're always talking against jealousy. What do you mean compete? Okay. Calm down. I'm about to drop some gems. What competition is in the groups of women, what competition is among women is not what competition is in the real world. Most women have not been taught to compete in life. Life is going to require you to compete. Life is a competition. What does that mean? Think back to when you were in high school, for those of you that went to college. Every time a student would apply to a university, you would hope that your GPA, your references, and your extracurricular activities and rewards would blow the admission team's mind away, that you would get picked and admitted ahead of the other hundreds of students that applied. And the only thing that would truly solidify your admission to that university is the comparison of how good your scores were, your SAT scores were, compared to them, in a combination with your grades and your extracurricular activity to blow the admission team's mind away for you to get admitted. Life will require you to compete, ladies and gentlemen. Life is competition. When you show up to a job, to interview, may the best woman or the best man win. The thing is, women have not been, I'm not going to say women haven't been taught competition. Women have not been taught healthy competition. What is considered competing in the community of women is not competing in real life. I teach women how to compete in life because life is a competition. Life is going to require you to show up and show out. Life is going to require you to do what the other people around you are too lazy or inconsistent to do. Life is competition. When you're purchasing a house and they want to give you a loan, they're comparing your credit score to all of the other applicants, and the loan is going to go to the person with the best credit score and the best down payment. Life is competition. Life is competition. And until you understand that, until you understand what real competition is, not the fabricated hoopla that women have been taught. You think you're competing with a girl because you're tripping her on the marathon so you can get ahead. You think that you're competing with somebody because you're trying to be a replica of them, right? You think you're competing with someone because you're trying to team up with other girls and be a sore loser and ruin her reputation. In your mind, you think you're competing. No, you're a loser. You're a loser. And if you get thrown into the real world, you're going to get eaten alive. Because you only know how to compete in the childish way that women have been taught to compete. And the competition in the community of women looks very different from the competition in the real world and in the community of men. It's different because women don't understand that competition is going to require you to show up and show out and highlight your skills. Life is competition. You are competing against your old self. You are competing against the stats. It is a competition. When an African American woman gets admitted to medical school, and she's one of the 2 Black women in the group of like 75 people who were admitted to med school, she's going to have to prove herself time and time again that she's worthy to be there. Because we live in a racist world. So until you understand as a woman what it means to compete, that person that you keep trying to trip, if she is self-mastered and she is self-actualized, it doesn't matter how many times you trip her. She's still going to get up and outrun you. Because she has the muscle, she has the stamina. While you're teaming up with other women, trying to collaborate and conspire how to take her down, she's in the gym. So when you guys get on that field and it's time to run, you trip her, she gets back up and she still outruns you. Competing requires you to master yourself. You can't stop a generator. I forgot what I read online where they were talking about the different archetypes, and one of them was called generator. And that person is someone who just generates energy. Like they're so powerful. They're like, they cannot really be stopped. So when somebody is a generator, you can throw a million rocks in their path. You can't get rid of them. You can't stop them from accomplishing their goal because it's a part of who they are. They're a generator. They know how to compete in the real world. So you'll notice a lot of women are really good at, basic things like, cooking and like, I guess, going to school and things like that because it has an instruction manual and it can be done. If you just go and you study and these are the notes that you have to study, you put in the time, you pass the test. But the thing is, when you get into the real world, meaning you leave the comfort of your bedroom, a lot of women are hiding in their bedrooms. Like they don't want to go out into the world because the world is too ruthless. So they hide in their bedrooms, right? Out of fear. Because the world is a pretty scary place. The world will tear you up if you're not equipped to survive, right? So when women get into the real world, that's when they see competition. That's when they see that if you snooze, you lose, right? That's when they see that if you don't perform, at the level that person is requiring, you're going to get booted out and somebody's going to take your place right away. Like a lot of women don't really understand the concept of competing until they get into the real world and they start to hate other women because those other women are actual competitors. You like to compare, but that girl actually competes. And that's why you hate her. You hate the fact that, she's doing good in that position. You hate the fact that she has numbers. You hate the fact that she's successful. You hate the fact that when she took the test, she passed it right away because she studied really hard, but you were being lazy. And when you took the test, you didn't study. You weren't vigilant with your studies. You failed it. And you hate her because that's how women don't understand competition. That's the thing. They don't understand it. And the reason why is because as women, we didn't really grow up playing sports. Men have a better understanding of competition because men have played sports. So they understand that if I'm on the court dribbling my basketball, a man on the opposing team cannot try to keep tripping men mid game. You're going to get benched. The coach is going to do that hand thing and say foul, 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 foul. Because what you're doing is you're not following the rules. You're trying to get ahead by tripping someone or cheating someone so you can get ahead. That's more of what women do. In the real world, no, you're going to show those skills and you're going to pray that you worked out enough and you benched pressed enough and you practiced enough that when it's time for that game, you can be the all-star. There's no tripping people here. You'll get benched for that. You're going to have to get out and I always tell women, if you really want to understand what it means to compete, please watch sports. Watch these athletes in the gym. Watch how they train for a game. Watch how they train for a season. That's why when we were in high school, those girls who were on the cheerleading squad, those girls who were on the track team, on the cross country team, a lot of girls would envy those girls because those girls had a hustle that was not matched. They learned what competition is. Those girls, you would leave school at 3, it would be 8 o'clock and those girls were still at school. They were still at the school on the dirty grass in the heat, getting flipped in the air so they can get it perfect for the pep rally. So that girl would get spinned in the air 5-10 times, fall on the floor, get up, spin in the air again, fall on the floor. These women are being taught that this is how you compete in life. And then the other girls that team up, click up, start rumors, gossip, jealous, and envious, they're going to go after that girl who's the star cheerleader that works hard every day, or the cross country girl that runs several miles to make sure she wins that gold medal. That's who the girls are going to hate on. Because women don't understand what competition is. They think competition is sabotaging someone or replicating someone or getting in the way of someone's success because you don't want them to have it because you didn't do the work that they're doing. The cross-country girls got hated on because they had the best bodies because they worked out for it. They trained like men. They were so hyper-focused because not only did they have to do good in their sport, they also had to get good grades. That's why it's so important for women to wake up to real life. Because when you think about it, those athletes in high school, these girls who were athletes, if they got an F or a D in a class, the coach would not let them play. So the coach was already teaching them balance and structure and order. I don't care how hard you train. If you get a D in math, you will not play in the next game. That's why if you have daughters, put your daughters in a sport so your daughters can understand what competing is, what healthy competition is. While her friends stay clicked up in a corner gossiping, trying to find out what lie or scheme they can make up to take down the girl they're jealous of, your daughter's going to be on the field busting moves. When scouts come, your daughter is going to be the center of attention because she's on the field busting moves. And they're going to see that and be like, wow, look at how fast she runs. Somebody get her a contract to the next university. And then all the girls are going to hate on her, right? Because they don't know that girl is competing. You are not. You are comparing. You are on standby. You are focusing how to get rid of her, but she's out there competing. It's just like in the workplace. If you work really well and there's a promotion coming up and your colleagues see it, what they're going to do is start sabotaging you out of the promotion. They're not going to work better. No. They're going to sabotage you out of the promotion with a lie, a random lie, maybe tell your boss that you're always late. Or it's like women, like a lot of women, they don't know what competition is. And then when they get into the real world and they see how crazy life is and how cutthroat life is, now they have an identity crisis because it's like, I went to school, I did everything right, but I'm still losing. It's because life requires you to compete. Life requires you to show up and show out. Life requires you to pop your ish. Life requires you to have your ducks in a row. class. Don't forget to be there. We have self-mastery and manifestation. Yes. In order to stop living the life that does not belong to you, you have to put in the work to live the life that does belong to you. In this class, we're going to talk about mastering yourself, of course, mastering your characteristics, changing your mind, and doing what you need to do to manifest your 4D into your 3D. If you don't know the difference between 4D and 3D, Google it. But we're also going to talk about how to get your manifestations right here, right now to this dimension so you can move your life forward. Also, divestor pathway. Come on. Which one of you guys are ready to leave the past behind, leave your old group of friends behind, leave your toxic family behind, and do what's necessary to create the life that you desire? Divesting can be scary for people because you're basically starting everything by yourself and you're leaving everybody behind. So you're going to go through life by yourself, at least for the start of it, but it's okay. This class is going to give you the tools and really the resources on how to navigate starting an entire brand new life away from your toxic family and environment. Don't forget to sign up.